Hello and welcome back. In our last collection of videos, we saw how to open up a terminal and enter in commands to get some basic information about our computer system. We also saw how to reference the help documentation in the manual to see how our commands could be used differently. In this next section of videos, we're going to learn how to navigate through our directory systems on Linux. So the Linux directory system is often modeled like a tree, and a tree begins with its roots. Off of the roots can sprout many different branches, each branch having multiple branches of its own. And you can move up and down the tree. And if you move all the way down, you always end up back at the root of the tree. And so moving through directories in Linux in a terminal is very similar. So let's start by opening up a terminal and viewing the current directory that we are in. So to print our working or current directory, we'll use the pwd command, which stands for print working directory. And so if I do this, it looks like I am in a directory /root. So root is my username, right? If I type who am I, it tells me I'm root. And so it seems that we are in a folder for the root user of the system. Now, this is not the root directory or the starting directory of the computer. It's not like the roots of the tree. This is confusing, I know, because our username is root. But this is actually kind of a bad idea to always run our commands as the root user. The root user is a really special user that sort of has unlimited control and access to the machine. They can do whatever they want, which is awesome if you know what you're doing. But if you maybe don't know what you're doing and you're just kind of messing around, you could cause some real havoc as a root user if you accidentally change some files or delete some stuff. So we should maybe take some precaution and let's actually create a couple of non-root accounts on our machine that we can use. So I'm going to create an account named Mike, and to do this I'm going to use the add user command. So I'm just going to type add user and then I'm going to type Mike. All right, adding user Mike, adding new group Mike, adding new user Mike, okay. And then I have to set a password. So my password will be I'm not going to tell you. There we go. And so then I'm prompted here to enter in some information. So I don't need to enter in. I'm just going to skip this. That's optional. And I'll say that that is correct. And so now I think that that user is created. I'll create another account right now. I'll name it Peter. So I'll do add user Peter. And okay, I went through. I'm going to make a password. And then I'm just going to skip this information and say that that is correct. All right, so now I should have two non-root accounts onto the machine. I'm going to log into one of those new users. So let's switch users. I'm going to do SU Mike. All right, and so when I do that, we can see right here that my username has changed. I'm now Mike. If I type pwd, though, I'm still in the root directory for the root user. I can see what exists inside of this directory if I type ls. So the ls command stands for list files. So right now, if I type ls, I see that there are all of these different folders inside of this directory. Your directory might look a little bit different if your directory because you don't have stuff in it. I've used stuff in this root directory. So that will list all of our files. Now, the ls command takes options. So let's see what they are. So if I type ls tac help, I get a lot of the different options here. Some common ones are the tac-a option, which will list all of the files, especially ones starting with a period. Oftentimes, files that start with a period are considered hidden files. So if you want to view them, you have to type ls tac-a. Another common option is the tac-l here, which is a long listing format. It's going to print out like extra information about your files. So let's clear this. Let's type ls. And so there's, if I just type ls, it will list all of the files in this current directory. But if I type ls tac L, it will give me a long listing. So it gives me a little bit more information here. It gives me a bunch of interesting things right here, which we will eventually talk about. This is in regards to the permissions of the file. It gives me some of the usernames who own this and the group that owns this. It gives me, I think this is the file size, etc. Let's type ls tac a, and if we type ls tac a to list all of the files, we see that there are a lot more hidden files, right, that start with the period. And so we're going to look at some of these hidden files later on. So if we want to actually, let's see, ls, so here are my actual directories. If we want to change our directory, if we want to move into one of these directories, we can use the cd command for change directory. So if I do cd music, and I'll show you just a little hint. If I type mu and then I hit the tab button, it will auto finish for me. So now if you look here, if I type pwd, I'm no longer in the root directory, but I've branched off. I'm in, so this is the root of the system, and then I'm in the user roots directory, and then I move to the music directory. So if I click ls, it looks like I'm empty, right? So I have nothing in here. So I don't want to, I want to change, I want to get out of this. Well, to go up one directory in our sort of path here, we'll call this a path that we're in. To go up one directory from music to root, you can just type cd and then period, and that will bring you up one directory. And so we see that we've now gone up, we're back into the root document or directory. So if I click ls, let's move into another directory. Maybe I want to move into the documents directory. And so now I'm in the documents directory. So if I type ls, wow, I see that I have a lot of stuff right in here that maybe we could move into. So maybe I want to move into the scripts folder. So I'll say cd scripts, and I know that this is a directory because it's a different color. But if I didn't know that, I could type ls tac l to see a long listing. And if you look here, all of the files that are in blue, the first letter over here is a D, which means that they are a directory. So we can move into them. So let's see. If I do cd scripts, my path continues to grow. So I started at the root directory of the system. I then moved into the root folder for the root user, into documents, and into scripts. And so if I type ls, it looks like I've got a couple of scripts right in here that I've written. Now, I want to get out of this directory. I want to go back to the root directory. Let's go back to the root directory right here. So I could do this by typing cd ... and cd ... again. And so it gets me out of there. But I can also change, and I should say that this is known as the cd ... cd ... So now I'm here, I'm at root. If I want to change directories like this, all we have to do is, let's see, ls. So right now I'm in the root directory. If I want to change into one of these directories from where I currently am, all I have to do is just type the name of the directory, right? So if I just type in cd pictures, it's going to move me right into the pictures directory, which is exactly what it does. However, now if I type ls, we see that I've got a bunch of pictures in here, but I'm not currently, there's no directories that I want to go into. So like, let's say if I wanted to go back to documents, I can't just type cd documents. It says there's no such file or directory. See, when we were in the root folder and I typed in cd pictures, pictures was in the path. And so we call this the relative path because it's already in the folder that we're in. If we want to change to a directory that's not in our current location, we actually need to either manually go there one step at a time or type out the whole path directory, known as the absolute path. So if I type cd, starting with my root directory, we were in then the root users folder, and then we wanted to go to documents. So now if I type in the absolute path and click enter, you can see that I've moved right there. And so now I'm back into that documents folder. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to do cd ... back out of that. I'm going to do cd ... and back out of that. And now if I click ls, it looks like I have lots of options here. And so the first thing that I'm going to do, we're going to learn about what all of these folders are, but I'm going to change directory to the home directory. So if I do cd home, and let me clear the screen now. So I did cd home. I'm back into something called the home directory. If I do ls right now, it looks like we've got directories for some of the users that we've created, like Mike and like Peter. So let me cd into Mike's directory, and if I click ls, it looks like I don't have anything there. But I bet if I logged out and logged back in, which is what I'm going to do for the next video, we are going to see that there is probably, like a home directory for the user Mike and then for the user Peter. I think this is a great place to stop. Actually, one more thing I want to show you. There's a couple of shortcuts. If I want to go directly to the root directory of the system, all I have to do is type cd/, and that will bring me right to my root directory. So here's where this is our starting point for our path. So right now, if I type pwd, it's just the root directory. And let's do cd. We'll go into the root directory, the root folder. And so now I'm building my path. And then I'll do cd documents. And so I'm building my path. And then we'll do cd scripts. And you can see that my path adds a location each time, all right? If I want to go back to that root directory, all I have to do is type the absolute path, cd/, and it brings me right there. So I'm back here, and we can see that all of those things are here. If I want to go right to my home directory, I can type cd and then a tilde, and that will bring me right to my user's home directory. So if I type pwd, you can see I'm in my home directory right now because I've switched users to Mike. I'm at home, Mike. Now, if I want to get out of the session of being this Mike user, all I have to do is type exit. And let me bring this up to the top of the screen. And when I do that, you can see I'm now back to the root user. And so when I type pwd, where am I? Now I'm back in my home directory of the root user. At this point, I'm going to stop. The next video, when we start that next video, I'm not going to be logged in as the root user. Instead, I'm going to be logged in as one of these non-root users, Mike, like Mike or Peter. And so I would suggest that you log in as one of your non-root users. And if you had issues making that account, please feel free to leave questions below. Wonderful. I will see you in the next video.